Hello, I'm Razwa, and this is the first in a series of informative videos about Cradle Creators Challenge. Video 1 will show you highlights of a game from start to finish. Following along with the rule sheet found on our Kickstarter page might help you pick up on particular elements of play. Play begins with each creator shuffling their deck of tiled cards, and then putting them face down. Each creator then draws one card and places it face up, flush against their rivals. Then each creator draws 3 cards from the top of their deck, and that becomes their hand. Now, Orange has a situation where they can't place any cards legally, because those are both 1s, and they only have 1s and 3s. So this only occurs infrequently at the beginning of games, so there's no penalty. Orange will simply shuffle that hand back into their deck of tiled cards, and then draw 3 new tiled cards, and that can be repeated as often as it happens. Now each creator will turn their 6-sided die to 6. It will be used to track their turns. Blue is going to place a 2. 2s can be placed over 1s. The exact rules for that are you cover 1 or 2 squares that have already been placed, and the value to be overridden must be 1 greater or 1 less than the new value. Draws an additional card back into his hand, and then turns the die down to 5. Orange does the same, and that's the end of that turn. Now blue is placing a 3. 3s are important because that's where your octagonal origin points, and thus eventually your creations, will start from in phase 2. Your origin points are much stronger if they wind up on a 3. Orange is using a special technique available to 1s. Not only can 1s be placed normally, using the rules I mentioned before, but they can also be placed completely adjacent to any card you control, as long as it's not touching a rival square, so that's not allowed. And then he's going to hang it off right there. Alright, we've gone forward a little bit. The map is much closer to done. They're running out of turns now. Orange is taking second to last turn. Whenever the die shows 1, you play your last card, and then you set aside your tiled cards. Keep the die nearby. Alright, so that is a complete map. Now it's time to place origin points. Origin points are those octagonal points you see there. The eldest creator played a tiled card first, and now Orange, the youngest creator, is going to respond by placing their origin point. Now Orange is running up against a problem, though, where they have no legal origin point placement. Blue has done an excellent job of keeping their map locked down, so Orange can only place 1 point, but they get to ignore every other rule for placing them. So orange is going to place that right there on a 3. But they only get 1 origin point. That will come into play again later. Now blue will respond by placing both origin points. The rules for placing origin points, usually, you must place them on the highest value square you own that isn't adjacent to an enemy square. So, all of those there, while they are all 3s, they are also all adjacent to orange squares. So, those have to go there. Now phase 1 is over, phase 2 is started, and in phase 2 you make 3 creations, and then place them on the map. Alright, each of those creation cards corresponds to 1 creation pawn, represented by the number of dots. Now you take 1 soul, see the soul, and 1 body, and you pair them together to make a complete creation. It's usually easiest to start with the soul. There are 3 varieties of souls: the fluid, the vital, and then the rugged. And they each correspond to a type of terrain found on the map. So, as you can see on the map there, well, might be able to see on the map there, there's very little C's to be had, so blue's just going to take those right out and just focus on rugged and vital to take advantage of the mountains and the plains that are around. We're going to have 2 vital, and then 1 rugged, and then the rest of the soul cards will just be put aside. Next are the body cards. There are 2 copies of 6 different bodies: 2 clawed, 2 learned, 2 armed, 2 vocal, 2 winged, and 2 fanged. Those are the first 3: clawed, vocal, and armed. Here's the second 3: winged, learned, and fanged. And there are 2 copies, so you can double up on 1 type of body if the map calls for it. Alright, so this map has that sort of strong diagonal area there towards the middle, but then there's a lot of orthogonal movement around on either side. So blue is going to play 1 clawed, and then support that with a winged, and an armed. All of the remaining body cards are set aside. Next, dice are placed on the soul card. The value is supposed to match what's printed on the card, and that is the heart value of that creation. Alright, so each creation has its heart value, and now that the creations are complete, the creator has to describe what they've created. This first one is a manta ray that dives through sand in the desert. The second one is bears that are trying to escape that desert. And the third one is a stone golem that shoots crudely cast iron cannonballs. Now, the last element of creations, this is swapped continuously throughout play, are the event cards. You take your event card deck and you shuffle it, and then you just play them, 1, 2, 3, right down the row onto each of your creations. You keep that deck face up, because as a creator you can at least predict the weather a little bit. And now the same thing has been done by Orange. They've made their own unique creations. Now, the eldest creator gets to place all 3 of their creations on the map first, and then they must be placed in squares adjacent to origin points they control. So blue's going to place 1 there, and then 2 there. Now orange responds by placing all 3 of their creations. And they only have 1 origin point, so all 3 creations are going to wind up nearby, placing them based on the soul card that they possess. And this is a very mean setup, Orange is pointing out, because it has sort of locked Blue's creations in place to begin play. Now, that origin point token from before, if at any point you lose a single origin point token, or if you can't place it on the map to begin with, you get to take that token and you get to apply it to a creation to give that creation focus. Focus allows your creation's dominion effect to always be in play. Usually dominion only applies whenever you're on a particular terrain effect, but this just allows you to have it anywhere. Now that all creations are in play, it's time to begin directing them. Each creator on their turn will direct a single creation. Directing a creation is to follow their mobility line, which is found on their body card. You either direct them with their mobility into reach of a rival piece and then roll against it, or if you're already close enough, which orange is, you can skip the part where you travel the map and instead you can just jump immediately to the rolling. So orange is going to roll against the blue creation, the 2 creation, the bears escaping the desert, using the black dice. You always roll between 1 and 3 dice. You always start with 1. You can never go below 1. But the maximum number of dice you can roll is, or the number of dice you roll is modified by your soul and event card. So he got 1 card for being on the correct terrain, but then he lost 1 because of his disorder event. So he's only going to be rolling a single die. So if you roll a die and it is a 4, a 5, or a 6, that counts as a success. Alright, so that's a 1. So that's no good. Alright, that roll was a failure, but it was a roll. So the event card is discarded to the bottom of the event deck. And the next card is taken from the top and applied to that creation. So now orange's turn is over. Now it's blue's turn. Blue's 3rd creation is going to be attacking orange's 1st creation. Starts with 1 die, gains an additional die because of being on the correct terrain, and then gains a 3rd die from Bountiful Harvest. So blue is going to be rolling the maximum number of dice available. Now blue has rolled 1 success, 1 1, and 1 3. Because of the plane's dominion effect, blue gets to re-roll that 1. And that came up as a 4, so that's 2 successes. And because of Bountiful Harvest, blue also gets to roll any failed dice once. So he's going to re-roll that 3 1 time, and it comes up as a 2. Still, 2 successes is pretty nice. No, 2 is a failure. Okay, so with 2 successes, that means that the targeted creation on orange team, its heart value is reduced to 4. Now when that hits 0, that creation is removed from the map. And remember, that's one possible victory condition. Blue is going to cycle that event card to the bottom of the deck and then draw Clear Skies. And now, because blue got at least one success, one other creation he controls gets to slide one square in any direction. He's going to slide armed over there to try to get it in play. A little more actively in play. Now we've skipped ahead a little bit to where the challenge is progressing a little bit. Blue is making a roll against orange, got one success. An Idol is Born is a powerful event card that makes each success roll count as an additional success. So that one success now counts as 2, which is just enough to finish off the orange piece that blue has been assaulting for the last few turns. So now, face down, stripes is down means dead, or gone, whatever. So now, that piece's event card is put on the bottom of the deck. Just tidying up a bit. Now blue gets to slide a creation 1, and now orange is going to respond. Orange is just going to direct its creation to move back 1, doesn't have to make a roll. Now blue is going to make an attempt at destroying the origin point, the last origin point, because that's the other victory condition. If you take both origin points, you win. So now, because that orange origin point is on a 3, you have to roll a 6 and then 2 additional successes. So blue didn't make it that time. Very close though. 1 critical success, 1 6, and then 1 success. So the event card cycles, and now because blue failed at cracking that origin point, orange gets to slide that creation 1. So orange is going to slide it right there into the range, into reach of its fanged creation. And now on orange's turn, that fanged creation is going to roll a couple of dice. Got a 6. That creation only had the 1 heart left, so it's gone now. Alright, now we're very close to the conclusion of the game. This is just a few turns later. The creations have just been sort of clumped together, beating up on each other very fiercely. So that creation has just fallen, but it's the creation that you may recall had focus. So now, when a creation with focus is defeated, it is instead not defeated. It loses focus, so it doesn't get its dominion effect everywhere, but it survives with 2 heart. So now this is just there are only a couple of turns left in the game. Blue has just pulled orange further away from its origin point. And now blue is going to be rolling a couple of dice. That's 2 successes. That leaves it with only a single heart. Things aren't looking good for orange right now. Quite bad. Orange can unfortunately do very little because of its strong orthogonal movement, can't really roll against anything. So now blue is going to make what might be the last roll of the game. And it is. Rolled a success. Orange only had 1 heart left. That was orange's last creation. Stripes down are dead. And that's the end of the game. Thanks for watching that challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. Those were just the highlights of that challenge. The full thing took about 30 minutes. That's not an uncommon figure for creators who are familiar with the challenge. For your first time playing, it will probably take between 45 minutes and an hour. You can check back over the next few days on our Kickstarter page for 6 additional videos that we'll be releasing. They're only going to be about 2 minutes long each. I hope you'll give them a watch.